Nelly's correct. 20 years ago, the rap game was harder. The rapper from St. Louis remembers going up against Eminem, Jay-Z, and DMX. The veteran St. Louis rapper Nelly caused some ruckus when a social media clip of him from Spring Hills The Shop appeared yesterday. The diamond-selling superstar asserted in the video that selling records as a rapper was considerably more difficult when he initially came out than it has ever been. The episode airs on March 7th. My musical era was the toughest era of hip-hop, ever, he declares. I had to compete with DMX, Jay-Z, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, and Luda when I released songs. We're all vying for the same slot. Every artist thinks their generation is the hardest on itself. Drake, for instance, bemoans the fact that people on social media and tabloids alike are always mining celebrities' private lives for content on his debut collaboration with Ross, Lord knows, even questioning if the greats to whom he is compared could ever survive in this era. In an era where bringing out all of your skeletons from the closet like Halloween decor is a form of leisure. Who knows how 90 seconds hip-hop artists would do in the age of X, Instagram, and TikTok, but Nelly is largely correct. It's difficult to accept that being a top-selling rapper in the early 2000 seconds was more difficult than it was, say, in the late 1980s, but it's also easy to accept that things have somewhat improved since then. Just a few short figures to think about. Nelly sold 235,000 copies of his debut album, Country Grammar, in its first week of release in June 2000. Not bad for a child who was riding the wave of popularity from a highly catchy, if somewhat puerile, single that most people had never heard of. On the Billboard 200, the album made its debut at position 3. Eminem, who released his eagerly awaited sophomore album, The Marshall Mathers LP, a month ago, took the #1 spot. You did really read correctly. In its debut week, TMMLP sold 1.78 million copies. It sold 800,000 units in the second week. Week 3, an additional 600,000. Then, in the fourth week, it amusingly sold 520,000 copies, more than twice as much as Nelly's first week. For those who are keeping track, that equates to 3.7 million copies in a single month. Before both albums became diamonds, Nelly would eventually take the top place and fight with them for the remainder of the summer. Not a single rap album has even gone gold in its first week of release in 2024. Of course, stats don't tell the whole story. There are more successful rappers than ever before in this day and age. A rapper may be able to live comfortably without selling 1 million albums or having a top 10 album, depending on the terms of their contract. Today's artists have discovered fresh and inventive ways to make money that simply weren't accessible when Nelly first came out. All of that is okay and great. It is undeniable, nevertheless, that the number of rap performers has decreased. Nelly is talking about the period when DMX released 2 multi-platinum albums in a single year that peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200. It's the era in which Outkast achieved diamond status, capping an amazing run of 5 albums. That was Ludacris's rap career at the time. Every quarter, Jay-Z would release an album that would go platinum and top the charts. You had to combat them all and more if you wanted to be a rap sensation. If you ask a rap fan why no album has sold exceptionally well thus far in 2018, they will probably tell you that the venerable Big Three, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, haven't released anything new. It wouldn't compare to the sheer volume of big names who were moving units back then, even if you included Future, Nicki Minaj, and Ye.